So highlights for me in 25, there have been loads, but I think the response of people in our pews to the proactive approach to the gap, to addressing the gap in our clergy and lay reader ranks has been absolutely tremendous. People of all ages, from early 20s to late 60s, from different backgrounds with an abundance of life experiences, and some with tremendous qualifications, others with not too many. They've had the courage and put up their hands and says, yes, I believe I can serve God. I believe I can serve God's church here in this part of the world, and that has been so encouraging. I'd like just to say to people, if they do sense God calling them to speak to the rector, speak to me, speak to the rural dean, come to the Fellowship of Vocation. Don't sit there in the pews and think God doesn't want you. He definitely does.
The highlight of my year was really humbling. It was when we were at the 50th anniversary of Blair Memorial Flute Band, when they announced that next year we were going to be one of their chosen charities. The other highlights has been, as I go around the parish, it amazes me at the creativity of some of the parishes. One example is St Luke's, Tamlet and Coke, where at Easter they did a lovely little treasure hunt around the Easter story around the graveyard, and that had opened for 2 weeks for the visitors and anybody who wanted to come in. Those things are encouraging.
We're standing here in the cathedral at harvest time, but last Christmas we were delighted when the cathedral appeared on the Christmas stamp, so it was seen far and wide across the United Kingdom, indeed around the world. This place where St Patrick brought the Christian faith, and from where it spread right across this island, and indeed right around the world. And in recent months we've been delighted to have a brand new lighting system here in the cathedral, so the light is shining as brightly as ever from the hill of Armagh, the light of faith going out into the world.
The highlight of my year for Mothers Union in the Armagh Diocese has been supporting Baby Basics in Macrofelt and Mullavilly by providing essential items for newborn babies whose mummies cannot afford the basics. The project was funded by Mums in May grants, which are supported by the generosity of our Mothers Union members.
The biggest highlight of the last year for me has been taking charge of the parish of Crossdernet. While there was lots of apprehension beforehand, we've discovered that 3 churches are stronger, working together and supporting one another. The other highlight was the number of people who've responded to What's Your Call, to see 6 ordinations this summer and a group of people commissioned as readers and pastoral visitors and for the healing ministry. It's been wonderful to see the response to God's call.
My most memorable moment in 2025 was going out with Mullabracken and Cooney parishes to East Uganda to help build a nursery school and take part in some of the teaching out there with the other teachers on the team.
My memorable experience of the year was definitely the Romania mission with the Armagh Diocese team. It was great to work alongside a new group of people and builders, putting aside our differences and the language barriers to really make a difference towards families in need. It was also amazing to see the impact that it would have on these families' daily lives.
This year, my most significant moment was being commissioned as parish reader for the parishes of Mullabracken and Clooney by the Archbishop. The presence of my own family and my church family at the service made it a very memorable and significant occasion.
One of my highlights from work with young people and children this year has been the opportunity to serve and help support parishes with confirmation groups. Can I just say one thing about our young people involved in church life at every level? They are hungry for God's word, they're hungry to explore faith, they're hungry to see their faith put in action. And for me, one of the highlights has been seeing young people, maybe initially quiet whenever we first meet, but asking questions, seeking God's truth, and seeking to learn from others around them. That has been an absolute highlight. Our young people are hungry. Let's feed them with God's life and presence. Thank you.
My most memorable moments from 2025 is coming into Dundalk to become the new rector in the Dundalk group of parishes. I have been here only for 3 months, but I'm absolutely loving the hospitality, the love and the care and affection that people have given to me. And people have gone out and about to help us. And more than anything else, it's a welcoming community where people really do a lot. And the harvest was one of the most memorable things that had ever been seen in this part of the world, because every church, I have 5 churches, and all the 5 different churches had amazing harvest, and they were so really grateful, and there was so much of input, and people went out and about to do it.
One of the highlights this year for me in the diocese has been the most recent trip to Burundi, to the Diocese of Gitega, and to meet with Bishop Amy Joseph in that diocese. We're not long back, just over a week ago, and we had a wonderful opportunity to meet in that diocese and to go and visit some of the very rural areas in that diocese. It is starting to build up that partnership and to find out a little bit more about them, and really to see and to experience what the church is doing at ground level and how they're training up lay ministers and pastors to set up new church plants and to encourage their local communities to very much get involved in their church and building up of their church, and to see the work of the Mothers Union and all their projects and their literacy projects that are taking place. So it was an absolutely fantastic experience in a church where they really don't have very much, but to see the joy and the excitement and the positivity of what God can do with them and through them. And I guess too, Armagh Diocese will have a lot to learn and to share with them also.
The most significant thing for me amidst all the work is that I have just really begun to realise how important the work of the Board of Religious Education is and has been over the years. As the last diocese in Northern Ireland, or with parishes in Northern Ireland who still regularly visit schools, and I will say a little bit more about that later in my presidential address, because it strikes me that it and its associated work is of enormous importance to us.